Michelle, we just got a fresh batch of college football rankings, but we're throwing all of that aside because it is Big Ten Showdown weekend. It's the game, and this game probably has more stakes than ever. It is number 2 Ohio State versus number 3 Michigan. And if both of these teams come out and show their best, there's a chance that even with the loss, both of these teams could be in the college football playoffs in the Final Four.
I definitely think there's a real possibility there, and not just because these two teams are ranked number 2 and number 3. Right now, according to ESPN's college football playoff predictor, Ohio State has about a 93% chance of making the playoff, while Michigan is at 75%. So I really feel like unless this is a terrible, ugly, one-sided loss for the losing team, the Big Ten really does have a good chance of getting 2 teams in, which is so interesting because we felt that way about the SEC not that long ago. That's still very much a possibility. You have to look at what else is happening, what TCU does, what USC does, what Clemson does, what LSU does. So there's a lot of factors there, but if this isn't a blowout, if whoever loses by no more than a touchdown and it's a good game, and say that game, I do think it's going to come down to the final minutes, maybe the last drive. If that's the case, then it could be a really good performance, and you have a one-loss team whose loss is to a top 3 team. It's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, and if you look at these two teams, especially in the last couple of weeks, it's been a game of hold my beer. Hey, you had a close game. Guess what? Our game is going to be even closer. Hey, you're struggling on the road. We're going to struggle on the road even harder. But I think what would be the difference maker between these two is the home team. And then we saw last year, Michigan got up early, used that run game at home to beat Ohio State. Ohio State is playing at home. And if the run games for either team isn't working because they're coming in with running backs injured, you have to look at Ohio State as a slight favorite because they can attack you through the air. And also, again, they're playing at home. They got the revenge factor because last year they didn't get just punched in the mouth. They got punched, they got kicked, they got ran over in a blowout loss. So if you're Ohio State, you do have that chip on your shoulder, but you got a big dog that's willing to take that chip off and stump on you again. So at the end of the day, if it's a good game, both of these teams will get in, probably, likely. But if it's another smash mouth game like last year, I can only see one team getting in.
I definitely think you have a point, especially with both teams having running backs, a little banged up at this point. I think Ohio State definitely has the stronger quarterback with CJ Stroud, but you can't overlook what Michigan's defense can do. It's absolutely suffocating. And if that defense can make Stroud slip, and if Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams, either can't play or at 100%, that Michigan defense could just take over.